Today I'm going to be talking about the benefits of preventing burnout and why you should do it for your personal life, for your workplace life, and for your social media life. So, what are the burnout basics? Well, these are factors that negatively influence your health status or your contact with health services. Basically, if you're feeling like every day is a bad day, carrying what you work for or your home life seems like a total waste of energy. You're exhausted all the time, and the majority of your day is spent doing tasks that you find mind-numbingly dull or overwhelming. And so let's sort of categorize between stress and burnout, because stress is sort of around with dealing with too many pressures, while being burned out is just more of feeling empty, mentally exhausted, and just devoid of motivation. And so, as you can see in this little visual aid I have, stress is more related with loss of energy, and it leads to more anxiety disorders compared to burnout, which is more of loss of motivation, ideals, in extreme cases, hope, and this leads more to detachment and depression. The burnout effects, according to the World Health Organization, it increases one's mental distance from one's job, or just more cynical feelings of that job. Energy has been depleted and just you've been more exhausted than you normally are. Your professional efficiency has been reduced, and there are more reinforced feelings of helplessness, entrapment, and of course, in the more extreme cases, total defeatness. With social media and burnout, this is a very interesting case because as the prevalence of social media has sort of integrated into our society, there have been more and more rates of burnout in the workplace that are tied to our social media presence. So, forms of online fatigue that can happen when you spend too much time on social networks. There's emotional exhaustion and deep personalization that can all significantly influence a user's social media continuance. And logically, because social media has more outlets for social comparison, it will trigger more self-evaluation for oneself. And whether the evaluation is positive or negative, burnout is always considered to be a negative evaluation. And of course, what can cause or start burnout? There is no defined line, but when it comes to your personal sake, there may be no defined line between work and personal. And this may start actually causing the root problems for burnout, because burnout often stems from your job, but can relate to anyone who feels overworked or who feels undervalued. And it can also be because of lack of quality workplace, or maybe there's home life issues that are not getting resolved. Social media influence is very impactful for this concept because the limited amount of attention to adults concentrates on seeing social media merely as a tool for information and network connections like friends or colleagues. We tend to ignore how impactful social media has been, as it's a new outlet for human life and changes and impacts our internal mechanisms. And so this, in a negative sense, can slowly start chipping away from our workplace confidence and our workplace environment. This video is a more professional example of how burnout forms and the results of it.
The actual meaning of stress is to quickly prepare your body for action in case of danger. But it also arises when we are, for example, worried. During stress, the adrenal gland produces 3 hormones: cortisol, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. Cortisol causes an increase in blood sugar, providing the body with a lot of readily available energy. Adrenaline and noradrenaline enable the body to perform quickly. This is also called the fight or flight reaction. Extreme or prolonged stress can cause your body to function beyond what it can voluntarily do. This can lead to various physical symptoms and disorders, or burnout. A burnout may be caused by prolonged exposure to stress at work, such as excessive workload, or too little recognition, combined with certain personal characteristics, such as perfectionism, excessive conscientiousness, and workaholism. During a burnout, you have no interest in your work. You feel constantly restless and tense, and you often suffer from physical symptoms, concentration problems, and forgetfulness. Other effects may include little time and energy for oneself and your family.
And so for a moderation guide, I found the Malash Burnout Inventory, which is sort of a measurement that is the exact opposite of burnout. Instead, finds ways to increase engagement in the workplace to better fit your fit your needs between the individual and the job, along with your social media influence. And optimizing your workflow is very beneficial because it will help you in the long term for a more successful career that you personally enjoy. There are many ways we ourselves can try to prevent burnout, whether we're just starting out in our field or maybe we're halfway through our career, stuff like that. So the 4 main points I have here are: recognize and watch for the warning signs of burnout, like I mentioned. Reverse and undo the damage by seeking support and managing stress in the case that something actually starts to sort of come up or something happens. And try to build a resistance to stress by taking care of your physical and emotional health. And if nothing else works, just turn to people and talk to someone or somebody else, because that can also help you greatly. With personal prevention, you need to define what you're comfortable doing in your personal social workplace. With personal prevention, you need to define what you are comfortable doing on your social media presence versus what's related with your job or industry. Balance how much time you spend on social media, put some time limits on yourself, and focus on the intention between the person and the situation rather than one or the other in isolation. With workplace environment and workplace prevention, it's very easy to be trapped in a sort of mindset that what you're doing is not as important compared to other works. And this is not a good mindset to have. So 3 points I have here, again, to limit your social media use and its influence in your work ethics or your work environment or just yourself at work. Reevaluate your priorities and find your own ways to boost your ability to stay on task and optimize your work environment in the long term for a more successful career. And so in conclusion, you should actively work to prevent burnout, as there are many benefits and positive attributes. You'll have a better work environment, you'll have consistent motivation and goals. You'll be personally and collectively economically stable, and you'll have a strong relationship with yourself, your social media use, and your workplace environment. And these are my sources cited. Thank you for watching.